So my wife's already giving me crap. Why you wear shades, Brian? It's cloudy out. It's a sad day, honey. That's why. It's a sad day. Indian Chief over there on 11th Street, Watchtower Plaza. He fell over today in the storms. He's laying down now. That's been there since my childhood. I remember my mom going shopping. I think there was a Venture or a Zayres or something in that area there. And that Indian always fascinated me. As a matter of fact, I told myself, when I grow up and I'm rich and famous, I'm gonna buy that Indian Chief and I'm gonna have him at my house. Well, fortunately, I never grew up and I never became rich and famous. So I guess I could just go look at him laying on the ground. I do hope they stand him back up though, at least. That's part of Rock Island to me. But sad day indeed. That's why I have the shades on, even though it's cloudy. Minor Gig Log, episode 4. We've seen episode 1, 2, 3, and now episode 4. This is going to be like any 80s hair metal band's fourth record. In other words, it's not going to be very good. It's going to be like, if you're a Kiss fan, it's going to be like the Elder album, because it's not going to have what you expect from Kiss on it. So I don't really care. You've clicked on the video, so that means we're friends already. And sometimes I'm not going to have a whole lot of rocking and rolling and gigs and guitar playing and stuff to talk about. Sometimes I just want to talk about life in general. Doesn't have to do with guitar. Doesn't have to do with being in a band all the time. So when's the last time you've said in your mind or out loud, someday I'm going to do that thing. Someday I'm going to buy a boat. Someday I'm going to buy a motorcycle and go across the United States. Or someday I'm going to learn to play guitar, whatever it is. When's the last time you said that to yourself? For me, it was just the other day. I was thinking in my head, someday I'm going to, whatever the thing was. And then I realized that I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50 in March, and you have to start thinking of things differently, because the reality is, if you haven't by now at 50, you're probably not gonna. So I have to figure out what things I really want to do, because I'm running out of some days. You have to learn to say things differently in your head. It can't be, someday I'm going to do this thing. You have to start saying this to yourself. I'm never going to buy a boat. And if you can handle hearing that out loud, fine. X that one off the list. If you don't like hearing it out loud, say, for example, I'm never going to buy a motorcycle and ride across the United States. If you can't handle hearing that out loud, then your someday needs to be today, after 50 years old. There are no more somedays. You have to get it done now. And if you can say it out loud that you're never going to do it, and you are cool with that, exit off the list. Quit saying someday you're going to do it, because you're not. If it's something you can't handle hearing out loud that you're never going to do it, you better get on it, because time's running out. Hey, that's my public service announcement. That's what happens when you turn 50. You start to reassess things. Your some days are running out, and you better get on it. So here we go. I told you, it's not always about rock and roll. This is just life, man. And thanks for being here. Episode 4. I'm going to talk about some things that are very un-rock and roll related. And I also have the show at the Vibrant Arena after the Storm game. That should be a little bit of fun to talk about. But here we go. All right, so I'm letting it happen again. Okay, every time I do something, radio, podcast, whatever, I tell myself, I don't care how many people watch this thing. I don't care if people like it or not. Truth is, I do. Okay, so I pay attention to the views, how many people are watching, and how many people interact. Oh my God, my cat. I guess my point is, everybody wants to feel important, right? When you do something like this, you're thinking, I don't care. I'm just doing it for myself. It's fun. But then you realize how many people really don't care about you. And then, like what do we get, like 300-400 views on the average on these things. I have to learn to be okay with that, because look, when I get old and they finally wheel me in front of that window and they're like, here you go, Mr. Miner, enjoy looking out the window, you old bastard. I won't have that thing in the back of my head where I'm like, man, I wonder if I'd have just tried to put myself out there and try to be some entertainer or something, or try to do something with myself. If I had just tried that, man, maybe things would have been different. But doing these takes that thought right out of my mind, because I know no matter what I do, I'm always going to be small fry. I understand I'm a nobody. If I were Paul Stanley, there'd be hundreds of thousands of views, people watching, oh, let's see what Paul Stanley's life is like or whatever. But I have to go back to the first thoughts that I had when I started doing this, which was, I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to document it for myself and then share it with other people. If they want to see it, great. If not, whatever. But again, there is some sort of like delusions of grandeur that we have. I remember back when I was in Drop Hammer, my drummer, Terry Hodges, he said, man, we should name the next record, because I was asking what we should name the third or fourth record, something like that. And we were doing our third or fourth, and he said we should probably name it Delusions of Grandeur, because, you know, we think we're so cool. And that was a true statement. You know, you get thinking that you're more important than you are, what people think of you. The fact is, nobody's thinking of you. They're thinking about themselves. So in this world of millions of people trying to get attention, I'm putting out my little video. Most people don't give a crap, but you do, and you're here, and I appreciate that. So the fact that you're here right now means a ton to me. I'm not going to sit here and be mad at the 300 or 400 people that watch these, because they're the only 300 or 400 people that watch these. I'm going to be happy that there's even 300 people that would click on this thing, and be happy with that. So no more delusions of grandeur. I'm just some old band guy that wants to share my newfound band life in my older age with you. And it should be kind of funny watching my old ass try to keep up. So if anything, you might find humor in that. And I know there's people watching right now that don't like me and are like, Brian Miner, what is he doing? Oh, who does he think he is? That's fine. You're welcome to the party too. And hey, this is my job. My job is to do videos like this, put myself out there, and it's your job to watch these and go, who does he think he is? All right, so I'm going to talk about something now that's probably boring to most people, but when you get to be about 50 years old, you get enough hair on your nuts, weird things start to be fun. Weird things start to be like cool to do. I don't know how it happens. For my 50th birthday, my mom took all of us, my sisters, myself, and all of our spouses, to Bellvue. And there's a mansion there. It's called Mont, okay? And what you do is you show up to the place. I didn't know what to expect. You show up to the place, you get checked into your rooms. They give you a brief tour of the place. It's an old mansion. And then you get dressed up. They have a whole wardrobe or whatever, and you find out what you want to wear. You go find something that would appeal to you, and then you get handed some sort of role that you're going to be in this kind of murder mystery thing that you're a part of. And of course, you can drink alcohol. That is absolutely what you're supposed to do, I think. And then you talk with the other people that are there. In our group, there was 20 people, and 7 of them were us. Our group, right? So there's 13 people we didn't know, but by the end of this thing, we knew all of them. We get dressed up. Of course, I chose a red suit because I said, where's the tackiest stuff you have? Because I want to look crazy. So we get handed our identities as to who we are in this murder mystery thing. And then we talk amongst ourselves. We had dinner, and oh my God, the dinner that they presented at this thing, 10 out of 10 stars. So delicious. Best steak I've had in years. And big too, big chunk of steak. Very good dinner, very formal. You're all sitting at the table. We're all dressed in suits and gowns and whatever we're dressed in. And you know, I know this is weird, because if you'd have talked to the 20-year-old Brian Miner, I'd have been like, this is lame. Why would you want to do anything like that? That's stupid. But the 50-year-old Brian had a ball. I loved it. It was so much fun. Man, that's a double-headed shower. Yikes. This is our... That's you. You know who that is. Wonder what's in this door? Oh, a fan. Dude, they are on it. I mean, it was interesting to have this murder take place in the house, in the mansion, and then everybody's kind of in character, and we're just kind of acting silly and drinking beers and laughing and whatever. It was a blast. I would suggest doing this to anybody. If you get a group of people together, go up to Bellvue, go to the Mont Rest. The rooms aren't cheap. I think ours was, I looked at it on the website, it was like $270 or something for one night. And then the dinner and breakfast the following morning, I think were $69 or something like that. So it's not cheap. But if you get the right group together, you'd have a blast because they put it on up there. It's a lot of fun. So there, that was my 50th birthday murder mystery weekend. Luckily, the band had a weekend off. My mom made sure to take April 1st off. Do not have any gigs. And that's what I did. Such a good time. Oh, this is wild. Look at this. Who are you looking for?
Brian.
Me.
Brian Miner.
I'm right here.
Come here, please. We're toasting your birthday, please.
Oh, okay.
There he is. Come on, Brian. We're toasting your birthday real quick before he's videotaping.
I'm documenting things.
What's on you, man?
You know what I do. So I just got done editing the entire vlog and realized our trip to Bellvue wasn't complete without the going to the top. What did we go to? It was Bellvue State Park, right?
Yeah.
So on top of the hill and filmed down. And what had happened, if everybody remembers, there was a tornado or a few tornadoes in the Midwest the day before. So you'll see some damage from that. Apparently a tornado came down that hill and took out, laid some pine trees just flat, right? And then put one of the cabins down there in the river.
Not a cabin.
A motorhome or something, like somebody's camper or something went in the river. Anyway, you'll see some are flipped over. Very cool. I didn't want to leave this out of the vlog, so here you go. Wild. Yeah. Yep. Very pretty.
You know, we're in the woods.
Yeah, she's part Indian, so she's gonna go down there and make a teepee. And a pee-pee. So when I looked at the schedule for the Dirt Road Rockers, I was like, we're playing Vibrant Arena. Right. These guys are big time. This is Vibrant Arena conference room. Reality sets in. So since I've talked to you last, I've done one gig. So I only have one real gig for the vlog this episode. And it happened to be a short gig at the Vibrant Arena. Okay. So we were playing after the Storm game. And it just so happens that we had bad weather that day. So there were 3 storms that came through that day for real. And one of them was early that day and took out a gas station and a few, I mean, we had a couple tornadoes on the ground locally. And then there was supposed to be another storm coming in later, and then another storm coming in the next morning, like early, 3 o'clock in the morning. So people were a little apprehensive about going anywhere. So there wasn't a whole lot of people at the Vibrant Arena, but we still were going to play that show. And one thing about the Dirt Road Rockers is they bring a show. These guys have a light show, and the PA system and all that stuff they bring themselves. They have their own show. So that's a big box truck and a big trailer full of equipment that we have to unload and set up and get ready to do shows. Now, the show at the Vibrant Arena was scheduled for 30 or 40 minutes, literally, of playtime. So we had all this gear that we were setting up and all this stuff that we had to worry about to play 30 minutes after the game. And I didn't know what to expect. I've never done something like this before. So we get set up, and then we're waiting. We watched some of the hockey game, and we're confused by that because I don't know anything about hockey. And we watched that, and then we went back down. It was time to play. They told us, hey, once people start to trickle into this room, you start. You know, the first person that comes in, you start playing. And so we're cool. Okay. And then Wyatt looks at me, and we're on stage, we're ready to go. And he looks at me and goes, okay, my kind of party. Boom. Let me rewind a little bit. Every time we do a show, being that I'm the new guitar player in the band, I ask Wyatt, what the set list is. Okay. And he usually just kind of blows me off and like, hey, we don't have a set list. I'm just going to call them off of the list of 50 songs or whatever as I see fit. And I'm like, oh man, okay, I would really like to know what 8 songs we're playing because I'll be prepared and I'll know, and he's just like, hey, I'm just going to call them off as we go. And we get to the time where we had to start, where people were trickling into the room. He turns over to me and he says, and usually we would start with like, I Love This Life or something I'm totally familiar with. But he says, My Kind of Party. And that's a Jason Aldean song apparently. And I didn't know how it started. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going through and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh, cool. It's this riff right here. It starts like this. It's got this, it's got like these dual string things. Right? So that's the way I've learned it. And that's the right way. But I remember Colin saying something about, we play My Kind of Party in a different key, in C instead of C sharp like it's supposed to be. And then I thought, oh, they play it in a different position. So then I moved it up from where I learned it. And I ended up was playing it in like D or something. And I was sitting there playing the thing. And Jerry's across the stage looking at me, trying to find out where I'm at. And I'm like, I wrecked so bad that we had to stop the intro of the song. Thank God there was only about 10 people standing in there. But I'm trying to figure out the beginning of this song and what key we're supposed to play it in. And finally, I just told him, I'm playing it in the right key. And that's just what I'm going to do from now on. I'm playing it the way that it's supposed to be on the record. I'm not playing it, because you can't do that intro right unless it's in the right key. Anyway, so embarrassing, right? So I played like crap, I think. And then from there, it was just downhill. I'm starting to realize that the in-ear monitors, the no amps on stage, it falls flat. The experience falls flat. You don't have the inspiration, the feel. You can't, it's just weird. It's just so weird. And it takes a lot away from the performance. So I'm going to talk to Jerry and all the guys about trying to make it a little bit more pleasing in the ears somehow, so it just sounds better. Like, even if there's no backing tracks going out to the audience, maybe put some in there so it sounds like better. I don't know. It's weird. And I've heard other guitar players talk about this. I mean, the rig that I use, the amplifier is used by Steel Panther Live. Johnny Monaco and Rat now is using that stuff. I mean, it's a great little amp. It sounds killer. So even they talk about the transition between real amps and modular amps and the in-ears and the whole experience of the in-ears and the feeling of it and how it feels to like not have amps behind you. It's a different thing, and I'm trying to get used to it. And right now I'm giving it like 3 stars out of 10. Like 3 out of 10 stars. Do you do 10 stars or 5? 3 out of 10. I'm saying it sucks. And if it were out of 5, it would be like a 1.5 out of 5. So do the math. Anyway, that was my experience with the whole thing, and I didn't play well. I sucked. My solos, it just felt like my solos were all out of key and I was playing in the right spot. I just couldn't get into it. And luckily, it was only 30 minutes. We played 30 minutes. We got done. And then we had to tear that big-ass show down. All right, man. So that was rough. That was rough. These lights are pretty, though. 74 Bridge, Quad Cities. I just couldn't wait to get home and just relax and just get that one out of my mind. So that wasn't any fun. So there you go. That was episode 4. Thanks for being here. These are not always going to be super exciting, but hey, I think the next episode should be pretty cool because I actually have a bunch of gigs coming up and it's going to get really busy. So I think, what do we have? A Rascals, we have a Whiskey Barrel up in Rock Falls, we have some Wisconsin dates coming up. So here we go. I'm trying to do the best I can. Thanks for being here. Brian Miner Gig Log, episode 4. That's a wrap. So I'll take you for a walk here. This is backstage the Vibrant Arena here. So when you come to the Vibrant Arena and you're seeing your favorite band in the world or whatever, just realized that this is where like the dressing rooms are and the catering and all that stuff. But when you come in the building, you're basically standing right by the backstage. So where I just was all the dressing rooms, and I know that well, here's one. There's a dressing room there. They call it a classroom, but that's a dressing room. They use these for dressing rooms when they have a bunch of bands. But check it out where I'm at here. That's where you come in, right there. So just right at the conference rooms, and then right back here, it's the dressing room. So if you make it a fast dash, you could probably like tackle Paul Stanley or something.
Well, I think it's great. You believe your own reality. Oh, well, look at my face when I say the words I'm about to say. Oh, you're so lucky I loved you. You're so lucky that you made it so far. And you're so lucky I loved you because I never really liked you at all.
Get a guitar quick. Knock that shit down. All right.